Because we watched Arcane here. Okay. Be the client. Ooh. Chills. I like it. What is truth but a survivor story? Arcane Season 1, Episode 5. Oh, it's just
Managing
the
Fortis
creators.
is like, sometimes I feel like a band manager. Like, guys, you're doing whatever you want, but I want you on stage at this time for the concert and the gig. And they're always on time at the end. So you have to trust them.
Oh, it's the French team! Yeah,
So
they killed it.
17, and everybody is working really hard to deliver the pilot.
Mm.
And then we had a discussion with Riot, explaining to us that we're not happy with the script, with episode 2 and episode 3. At the end of the call, we were like, have they really said that? I think we have misunderstood them. When we arrived in LA, and then it was, hey guy, yes, we want to do a pause on the production, put everything on hold. We were like, oh my gosh, that was true.
Yeah, because 2017, this was released, what, 2020? Or 2021?
Everything is going to shit right now.
I guess that was pretty much at the point where they had drafted together a couple of scripts and sort of a show bible for the entire season. The next thing I know, Christian mysteriously gets pulled into a meeting, and then it was like a strange intervention where a bunch of other rioters basically told him that it sucked. It was such a blow to the team to just feel like, man, we're being told to stop completely and potentially even find different showrunners, different writers for the whole thing.
You know, you've been killing yourself, you know, to try and make it work and try and figure it out. And you, like, just, I mean, your first thought, of course, is just like, is it dead?
But they killed it.
Only able to hire all these animators with the promise that there would be a full season to work on, because you know they're very, very talented, and you really only get them if you have something kind of worth committing to, you know, like a multi-year project.
And so we just kind of had this feeling like we're gonna have to tell all these people that we just hired, they have to be like, which just, I don't know, it's just like the worst thought.
I think Alex and I just felt like we suck. Like we failed, you know.
Christian's a tortured artist who can't let himself not do something great. Like he will will it into existence because he will beat himself up and lose sleep and go crazy.
There were a lot of times during my career at Riot so far where I needed someone like Brandon or Mark to explore some pretty wild ideas. You know, where a lot of people would say, like, no one in the video game industry has full-time composers, you know, like we can just hire someone from the outside as a freelancer to make some music for us. Or why would we make music videos? That's insane, you know, like video game companies don't make music videos. Back then, it was Mark and Brandon who kind of saw the idea and like how awesome this could be. And they took bets on, you know, me being able to figure it out.
Interesting.
In the meeting, everyone left. It was just Brandon and me, and basically,
Huh.
Brandon
I
kind
feel
of like
tense. I'm scared.
moment to kind of tell me, hey,
God.
we'll figure it out. You know, like, we trust you. You know, like, we'll figure it out. And I just started crying.
Christian's biggest fear is letting players down.
Oh, wow.
He crushes himself over it. It's actually painful for those closest to him to sort of watch, and it gives you so much respect and appreciation and ultimately trust in what, you know, he decides to take responsibility and ownership for.
Hello, everyone. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about our decision to delay the further production of the follow-up episodes of Arcane.
I remember, I think I recorded like 16 different versions of this video because I just always was just kind of sitting there like,
And I wanted to give you guys some more information about it, you know, why, what our plan is, and so on. And I'm sure you've heard from...
We did not show this. The question was, if we start with that, everybody will cry, everybody will jump out of the window.
I finally made a version of the video that I felt like was okay, and I sent it to them, only to learn a few weeks later that they were like, yeah, we never showed it to anyone because you just looked so depressed. You look like you want to kill yourself. Like, how could we ever show that to anyone?
So it was like a harsh time.
It's just like, nah. Nah, how about nah? How about we just, quietly just don't say anything? Just stop.
Let the team go, which is always.
Oh my god, they actually let them go?
You're not sure they're gonna be able to come back because
the
if
fuck?
another production, you might lose them.
Yeah.
We knew that
they might die.
We wouldn't have work for them for the months to come. So we started talking to different teams at Riot and started asking people, hey, is there anything we can do, like a music video or anything that could just keep, the lights on at Fortiche? We talked to the esports team, and there was a desire to make a music video.
Oh! Oh! Oh, wow!
Which became the Rise music video.
Oh, wow, just to keep the lights on!
Music team, and they were working on something like a
oh my god,
about a K-pop group.
This French team needs more respect! Oh my god! Oh. Are you serious? This French team was disrespected like this?
Which I think are still...
So just to keep the lights on? The fuck you mean just to keep the lights on? Put them center stage!
Our shit at our jobs, because if we hadn't taken that extra
time to take over Riot,
the
holy shit!
music video and the Rise music video would have never happened.
Ces deux clips nous ont permis aussi de résoudre certains petits problèmes techniques qu'on pouvait avoir qu'on avait pu avoir sur le pilote.
The fuck is Riot doing? The fuck are they leaving this kid in charge of this French team? Or over like the LA kid, like, oh, we believe in. No, just have the French team take over Riot. They know what the fuck they're doing.
D'affirmer un peu
they killed KDA and Rise. The fuck you mean? Those things are Boom and Arcane. You're kidding me. And you were thinking about letting them go? And just don't worry about them. Just keep the lights on. That's funny. That's funny. French team. I like the French team.
From the Undercity. I was an outsider the moment
I stepped over and built over.
I didn't have the benefits of a patron or a name.
No.
I simply believed in myself.
Yes.
At that point, the idea was I had to replace myself as like the person in charge of figuring out the story. Of course, it was me and Alex, but I was responsible. We just knew we had to hire someone who's experienced as a showrunner and as writers and that kind of stuff. And that's what we tried to do. Except we couldn't really find anyone. 6 years ago, if you pitched that a video company was gonna do like an animated series that is looking for like drama screenwriters, no one really showed up.
Wow.
Or it was just, people were in for the wrong reasons, where it was like, well, I mean, League of Legends and Riot is big, but they didn't really care about the characters that much. So we looked for quite a while, and at some point, we just felt like maybe we'll just kind of have to try again, but be less shitty.
Damn.
And then, yeah, I mean, it was just start over, like kind of look at what we do. That's when we started talking to showrunners, like who could we bring in to just be an advisor.
That's when we found Monica Macer. She was a showrunner. She worked on Lost, was someone who was really passionate about.
Oh, they got the Lost?
She really helped us find the right way to realize our vision, without necessarily being like, here's what you have to do. More just about here's all about the process of how to craft a season, how to think about developing characters.
And then we hired, a bunch of writers who'd worked in various capacities in TV. So, Amanda was one of those writers.
Oh, I know. It's so good. It's so good.
You're like always trying to get into the heads of your characters in any way you can. I did have one of the writers teach me how to shoot a gun, like a sniper gun.
That's right.
Before I was gonna.
I saw this on Twitter. I saw this post on Twitter. I saw her shoot. This happened.
We're in
Legit.
my house, and I have a little office here where I do my writing.
I didn't think this would be relevant. That Twitter post would come to light like this.
Into my nook.
Oh my god!
Lights I turn on
Whoa!
at
Is that a
night
whole dry
to
erase
sort
board
of
wall? I'm a
inspire
little
me.
jealous.
There we go.
Inspiration.
They'll have scripts that they'll send over to you as kind of a sample of their work. And Amanda, I think with hers, it was comic book video game scientist. And her story was about a future world where we've colonized the moon. And I was like, this seems like it could be a good fit for us.
Yeah. I would prefer not to have a punching bag in my living room, but that's just what we do right now. So I actually never thought about how my kung fu translates to learning how Vi's a fighter.
Rotten luck, boys.
But
Oh,
there's a
she
fight
just
scene in
got
episode
shit.
5 of season
She just
1.
started doing shit to like
Which,
get in the. Oh
is
my
the episode I
god! She
wrote.
got a punching bag to beat fire.
One of the things I'm like so proud of
That's
is
funny.
it's like between two women with like a different body type, different like both like really muscular. They're doing moves that you haven't necessarily seen women do before on screen. I always think of fight scenes as like being just like another talking drama scene. Like there has to be a turn, there has to be motivations, you have to learn something new about the character in the fight that you didn't know before.
Yeah, because they're gonna talk shit.
I'll give her your regards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course, she's saved by another woman. 3 women in a fight scene. That's fucking dope, so.
Amanda just has a really honest voice in her dialogue that is just really grounded emotionally. I remember this moment when Alex and I were really wrestling with the last words that Jinx was saying to Vi in season 1. And then like Amanda took the script and solved it in like, I don't know, an hour.
I thought maybe you could love
Oh, don't hit me.
Even though I'm.
Oh, I haven't watched this in a while. This hurts. We still sisters?
Oh, changed
too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Here's to the new one.
Yes.
Amanda just wrote that, and Alex and I were just like, "Yep, that," and we just.
I remember when it went dark in there. We
I
still
think the
sisters?
biggest change
Always.
from the way that we were looking at it before was it was very plot heavy, right? It's very focused on kind of like, what's the problem that has to get solved? Who's going to fight who? What I think most improved after kind of working with these writers was sort of like the emotional story for the characters.
I'm quite proud of the cold open too, the like whole beginning of the season with the bridge.
Yeah, with Aatrox. Yeah, that was
The
hella
cold
with
open
the
used to be the cold open from episode 3 when Silco was drowning.
Oh.
I sort of went out on a limb being like, so guys, I know you hired me to help out with the show and whatever, but you need to change the pilot. That's a lovely poetic image, right? But it wasn't telling the story of the series, which is
The
these
bridge.
two sisters being torn apart.
between two worlds, which is the bridge between Piltover and that's it. That's the
when
whole.
I came in as a
It's the core.
taking this big role.
It's about
with the
Piltover and
idea of
Zon,
becoming a
separated
multi-game
by a river, by a
developer and
bridge,
multi-game
by an
publisher, which on
explosion.
its own is a really difficult challenge to go
But how
from,
they're
like,
tied
one hit to
together, but
multiple
how they're
games.
pulled apart.
And then there was this little curveball, and by the way, we have this TV show, which probably is going to cost us, a massive 9-digit budget. There is a lot of risk in this.
To be completely honest, Niccolo and I were always on like completely opposite spectrums. He's a business person. He's someone who's just extremely smart
In a rational way, yeah.
He doesn't really let himself get carried away by like his emotions or like by his own personal attachment to anything.
Yeah. As you should, yeah. You can't have that.
I always have opinions. I'm always, emotionally attached to the stuff that I work on. I'm an artiste, I guess.
Christian, actually, I remember bringing him in my office to say, hey, we've decided if we're gonna fund you for a full season. He had done the pilot, and we paused, and I told him like we're not gonna fund a full season for Arcane.
Oof.
And then I told him like I think it's really important you understand why, because you and I can be on a different page, but it's very important you understand where I'm coming from. And the reason I'm not going to validate you to move to a full season is because I'm going to allow you to move to multiple seasons. And so I kind of trolled him a bit.
Damn.
A little bit of a prank.
And I think he was really pissed at me for this.
I'd be pissed. Holy shit.
So yeah, he definitely gave me the trust that I needed
season.
to build, develop Arcane the way
5, 6.
Riot.
How many seasons?
To do it, you know, which was not the easy way, but like really this like pursuit of like, hey, this is what we think our audience wants, and it's ambitious and crazy.
No, it was accurate. You just need to trust in the French
to stay
team
committed to players because
and get actual people that weren't you.
There will be
writers
many moments where you want to give up. I know Christian went through this multiple times.
They just need to feed them the information of the world and the lore and the
grit
universe
and the courage.
And they just took it ground running
to continue for players.
As we were,
dude, I bet they have so much like a better team. They need to really trust in their French team.
In production, and we started to think about how are we gonna.
I can't believe the disrespect that was thrown towards that French team. That did Rise, KDA, and Arcane. Get
it
the
was
fuck.
tough because we couldn't find the right culture fit. A lot of people kind of shied away from like, hey, this isn't normal.
They didn't disrespect
TV,
the writers
this
at
isn't
least,
normal
but
animation.
still.
I
Disrespect the French animators one more time, right? I'm gonna fucking
insert any animation studio.
You better
out
move
there,
Riot HQ to
And-
France.
But finally, one time I got connected
Immediately,
with,
in that department.
Dilger.
Where they're at.
Hey guys, come on in. Welcome to Casa de Dilger.
Oh, Casa de I haven't heard that in a while.
I work here because of COVID.
Yep.
This is Willie Nelson. He's the boss of Arcane right here. He's in all the meetings. He loves it. He loves his job.
He looks like he loves it. I'm jealous.
I just love talking to her. She had
Dog's
such
adorable.
a warm energy.
'Cause she had a
And
dog.
She just also had experience. Like I mentioned some of the issues that we were dealing with, and she seemed unfazed by it.
This is where all my meetings happen. It's very exciting. This is where I burn off my energy, and I got that when I worked on Mary Poppins Returns, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
I remember sitting down, all of the stakeholders, and I think I literally told them, "You better not fuck this up. I like her. She's awesome. If you fuck this up, I'm gonna kill you."
I was producing by the time I was 24. That was when I was really young. I worked on Darkwing Duck. That was my very first animated show to be on as a production assistant. I was working on Goof Troop, Aladdin. I won an Emmy
Goof
Award.
Troop?
That's kind of a big deal right there. This is
Oh my
very proud-
gosh.
very proud of this.
Darkwing Duck.
Very nice.
I love this.
I know
This
whenever
woman is a
people tell me,
gem.
like, oh my gosh, I watched that as a child.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I'm so old. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, now everybody looks at me and they say, we're so glad we have somebody with so much experience on the show, which really equates to old, but it's okay. I can take it, you know.
Very young.
Riot's a very young company.
Yeah, you tell him. You tell him.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
You've had enough, man.
Yeah,
Darkwing
the team
Ducks and
helped when I
Goofy
first
Troop.
started
Oh my
wasn't
gosh.
so great. Everyone was like, I was like, man, this team, they need some lovin'. They need some lovin'.
Making the show that we kind of set out with Arcane, you know, with the right designs for these characters that work in our IP, you know, this fantasy world. The pursuit of creative work is complex. If your expectation is that you're gonna work on something creatively where you're gonna have no pressure or no feeling of like being overwhelmed at times, then you're working on something the world is gonna forget.
By then, I think I was super exhausted because I was like 3 years into the project or something. I know Christian was exhausted, Alex was beat, and like she brought in that new energy and just sort of this like, yep, let's pick it up and let's go.
How are you guys feeling? Are you exhausted? Right? Are you okay to keep going? From what I was hearing, it was just taking them a long time to kind of get their bearings. And let's face it, Fortiche, our animation partner studio in Paris, they had also never produced a series. So you have a bunch of newbies trying to figure this out, and lo and behold, it is really a difficult process, and it's a challenging one, even for those of us that have been in the business for a really long time.
You missed a really long, important strategy meeting that answers all the questions of the universe.
That was a Rosebud meeting.
For Riot and beyond. The Rosebud
You're
meeting.
missing the Rosebud.
Melinda was always someone that is extremely inspiring to the team and creating a team atmosphere where it's okay when things are tough, as long as you just kind of believe in the team.
She made Darkwing Duck.
Have the right dream
Goof
together.
Troop.
You know, well, you know, you can get everything in New York like that.
Mary Poppins Returns. Reference it to
See, you guys didn't think you'd be on behind the scenes, and here you are. There's Eric Bergman, our post supervisor. Hi, Eric's used to all the publicity. Eric, you're on mute. See, this is what we do every Zoom call.
Hello.
Somebody's always on mute.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I just came in and kind of rolled up my sleeves and went from department by department, just trying to get everybody together and get to know each individual on the team as a person.
This is a French studio and there's no wine, but you have IPA?
It's like there's two teams, the beer team and the wine team.
Well, where's the wine?
Where's the wine?
And that's part of building team trust. And then you can.
So the French team had never done a series, but they're killer at animation.
Dig deep. That's what you got.
Bro, I would hold on to that French team for dear life. They killed it.
So this is our production
They
schedule.
made KDA. Come on.
March of 2020.
Let
that's when it
alone,
started.
let alone Rise and
all the way
Arcane.
through the last episode.
I don't even know what
Because this
what's
is
better
the
out of the
first
three.
series,
They're all
right?
killer.
A lot of things are getting.
I'd probably
figured
put
out.
Rise at the bottom just because it's not enough. There's not a lot, right?
So
There's more
it's
with
taking
KDA.
a
There's
little
more with
longer than it
Arcane.
typically would on a television
So I guess
series that's
it's
all
like a
thought
neck and neck
out,
KDA
figured
Rise
out way ahead of
Arcane
time.
thing.
This is like how
And then
can we
Rise
make
in
this
here.
more unique and more special than any other show on television. Let's take our time and do it right. And if it takes us a little bit longer to get those scripts done, that's what we do.
There's a natural balance of power, and you just gave everybody nukes. Congratulations, you fucked up, right?
This is the thing that's always been a little fuzzy to me, is just kind of how we end this episode with the Victor Singe thing.
Yes, I would love to bring Vi back into Caitlin's mind in this episode in some way. I wrote like something about missing Vi that I have not solved yet either.
And to kind of like take the IP that's there from the games and turn it into something really awesome for television is a challenge. They're going to spend more money than most people to get it there, but they're doing it because they love the players and they want the players to be happy. And it's special. It's like you don't just see them as these little tiny things walking across the screen. By putting them on television, they have soul and
With
they're
depth.
deep and
Yep.
you can relate to them.
Mm-hmm. I think they honestly landed it. Cause like they started from a young period on all this, so they kept like
one of the biggest questions we had
there
was
impudence in the lore to where like, oh well, we could fill this with this and
over
it's perfect.
6 hours. Will people watch something like this and fall into the immersion of the animation?
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you do that shit, the pondering orb.
Actually
Yeah.
have that quality to mesmerize an audience.
Yeah, the French team
by
does.
staring at two characters, not saying a word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's all
that's when
between
you know.
the air
That's
and
when you know
emotions.
you've got great animation. When they can just be quiet and show a picture, and it's
We
like
all
breathes a
want
bit,
to
but there's like no
take animation
sound,
to this place of
and it just
mature
mesmerizes. That's when you know
drama,
you've got a hit, and they did that a lot. They pulled the.
subtlety and nuance,
I can't wait for the next season. Stop.
style, and innovation. But it doesn't exist,
Yes.
and I think we together can do it.
This thing, oh man. And they called in Imagine Dragons for this. Come on. Such a great behind the scenes video. I mean, it was a hit. It was the best event Riot has ever done. Like the best event. Like the only thing I can think that can go even swing near that ballpark is KDA, the world's dragon coming with the song, but that was with KDA, I think. The Elder Dragon come flying in, that was real cool. What was another big event? For Incline, I guess it would be I want to say either the Odyssey event or the Star Guardian event. We get to play the games. Or like not Ascension. Ascension, we just kind of joked about it just being Dominion with a sand filter. They could have done more with that. I think it's Odyssey. Dark Side Thresh, I don't know because I wasn't. I'm not a big Thresh player, but I really regret not playing that one. I heard it was a lot of fun. I think replayability Odyssey had the most. So Earth, when it first dropped, that was pretty hype. Yeah, if I had to guess, this would be the best events. You know, obviously behind Arcane and KDA. Surely they're right behind them, you know. They're up there. Got a good, you know, memorabilia, good, you know, hit with the player base. They landed real good, you know, executed great, sort of thing. I think Ascension could have been executed better. I think, what was that weird off-meta thing they did? The experimental zone, Nexus Splits or whatever? Nexus Splits or Siege, whatever, or Southern Draft, Nemesis Draft, that stuff was executed. Eh. I like the city, future city one. That was kind of cool. I really felt immersed in that one. That one's like a niche hit, you know. That's like a Twisted Treeline hit, you know. Or some people say they didn't like Twisted Treeline after the changes from with the weird dragon that was in there. I honestly like the Vile Maw change. And I don't know about the spirit things and the things in the center, but I did like they told a story with the whole, you know, the thing of the Shadow Isles. Tell a story. But I definitely like the Vile Maw update. I think Vile Maw definitely need to be added to Twisted Treeline. I think that made it a real good icon for that area for Twisted Treeline. It really fit too. You know, the brood motor of the spider, which tied into Lisa's backstory. It was real nice. I think there could have been more ghouls or ghosts, something to tie Yorick in there, or Hecarim, or Maokai, or the trees. You know, there's a lot of key figureheads when you think of the Shadow Isles, aka the Old Blessed Isles. And then Dominion, honestly, just more like Shreeman stuff. Honestly, less sand filter and more like real sand. You know, like real like desert torn, or like they change the landscape, or like the Bracken emerge and attack, you know, more about Skarner, more like, you know, they just didn't care. They're not big on upkeep, which I don't know why. Like Dota 2 had really good upkeep. Like, they ride for better games. They like take Dota's IP, Dota creators move over here, like, oh, we can make Dota 2 better and more crisp, better game, League of Legends. But in reality, like, Dota 2 upkeeps their shit. In fact, I know because I went over to Dota 2 and they changed their thing to like a cool, well, not cool. I don't like the subscribe thing to pay to win sort of thing or get advantages in game. But before the pay thing they added, they were updating their stuff, keeping it balanced. They kept update on the thing, and they really didn't worry about the custom stuff because they let the players make custom maps and custom game mode, which is great because it let players become creative and explore their creative side. And really, you know, it actually helps, I think, make future video game designers. And, you know, if you're short-staffed in the video game industry, your problem would be solved if you just allowed players to, like, mess around and make their own maps and game modes and stuff and set the rules and, like, create the characters and play around with the models and stuff. You might think, oh, well, we can't have them messing around with our stuff and making them do funny, silly things or inappropriate things. But, like, that's what really, like, makes people... That's what sells it. That's what makes it memorable. You get iconic moments, and I mean, look at Fortnite. They're putting Goku in Fortnite right now. Like, that's gonna be remembered. You know, it's all over my Twitter feed. That made a splash. It makes an impact, a splash. People are gonna remember Fortnite for. Now there's Rick and Morty, Naruto, Goku. You know, just throwing all sorts of things in there. And then the custom, you can do creative stuff on there as well. Same for Dota 2, Warcraft 3 allowed you to make your own apps. I think now Age of Empires. That's what the video game industry needs to do. They need to allow their gamers, especially League of Legends, at the top of the tippity top, allow them to play around with the models on the map and create something. I bet you there's tons of content creators who would just be thrilled and would just produce stuff for you. They would do the work for free for you, and they would enjoy it and they would love it, and they want more from you to help them create stuff and make custom maps and game idea modes. I mean, hell, the League community had been doing it already, but like with nothing. We were just like going to custom game lobbies and just saying, here are the rules and you guys got to follow it. You know, when you could actually make the rules or change the map and force them to follow the rules based off the map or the terrain or the objectives or things to win the game. And you're not letting people do that, which is bizarre for me because you came from Dota. You came from Dota, you came from Warcraft 3, you came from StarCraft. All these places allowed you to customize the map or create the map from nothing. set the rules, parameters, mess around with the models, spawn points, you know. Why aren't you doing that? It boggles my mind that this game, this company, Riot Games, doesn't allow players to do that on their main flagship game, which is based solely off Dota 2, aka Warcraft 3 Dota All-Stars, you know, which spawned into Smite, Heroes of the Storm, and God knows what else, Mobile Legends, and then they made, you know, Wild Rift to counteract it and try and get their money back. Like, let people... You're not going to lose anything. You're going to bring in revenue, people, and players, and they're going to make stuff. And the sad thing is, they don't... Like, I could say this, but no one's going to hear it. It's not going to get out to them. This message is not going to reach them. They're not going to see it. I don't know why they don't see it. Like, if you're short-handed, which they say they are, then let the players do the work. Let your community help you out, because you're a part of that community. You know, what the community does, they help each other out. People help out. If I go over the Heimrain servers, they're going to help me with coding or something as best they can, or if I got a problem, they're going to talk to me, they're going to help me out. Because that's what the community does. If I go to a Wolfpack server and I need, like, help with coaching, or if I need to, like, hey, I need to talk to this, I need connections with this person, they're going to try and help me out as best they can and see what I need to get to, and I'll ask, you know, the right questions of, like, how do I get there? What do I need to do to get that? You know? That's what a community does. And the Riot Games does not rely on its community. It's community based. It's made around and based around the community, but it doesn't help, or it doesn't rely on the community. It doesn't trust the community, and it doesn't really. It feels like it doesn't care about. They say they care about the players, but they care about the players. Why don't you let us care about you? You know, we care about us so much. Why can't we care for you? You're part of the community. You're also a player. Every person who works at Riot they're a gamer. They're a player. They're a Riot. They're a League of Legends player. And yet they aren't relying on the community that helps, that like tries to support them and help them, but they don't let us as much as they want. They just want us to cheer for them, say good job and stuff like that. But we could be making the stuff for them and taking hours of workloads off their, or give them ideas to help fund their company. You know, we could be helping them, show them what we really care about. No matter how wild or wacky or crazy it seems, you gotta take a leap of faith with your community. You gotta trust them. If you don't trust them, then what's the point? Because it's like not trusting yourself, because you are that community. It's not like you're not trusting yourself. It's like not trusting your wife, your best friend, your brother, anyone, honestly. Because that's who the community could be. It could be anyone. It's the entirety of the internet. I just don't understand it. And I hope Riot somehow, I wish Riot could just hear this message in clarity and take it 100% like to the letter. Because all they have to do is allow us to play with the assets and the models, and you know, like if I could make a map, I would totally make a map. I would be like, you know, like I want to do this with the map and stuff like this. You would spend hours on. My brother literally just found the Age of Empires map creator just today. I don't know if they put it in recently, but we took a break. We went back over there. He is going nuts. Me and my brother used to do that all the time. I'm thinking about doing it, honestly, going over there and making a crazy cool map for Age of Empires. And just spending hours on it and probably streaming it and showing them like, okay, I want to put a river here and like this here, and then there's gonna put a relic here, and this mountainscape's gonna naturally form here. There's gonna be a waterfall right here. They don't have a waterfall on any of the maps. There's gonna be a fucking waterfall right here, okay? And it's gonna look cool. It's gonna look boom like this. We're gonna have some Bob Ross trees over here. Yeah, I'm telling you, Riot, if you could let us do this, we will make your map. These players, these content creators, these YouTubers, these streamers, they would make your maps for you. They would make your game modes. They would come up with ideas. They would storyboard it. They would get with friends. They would have whole Discord convos about like how to make it, ideas. They would get strategies together, and like they would do your work for you, and it would be awesome because it's just like that Sonic inspired community made game. I think it's Sonic Mania or something like that. It's just like that. You need to rely on your community because your community is your backbone. It is your pillar. It is your foundation. It's what you rely on for your money, your revenue, your inspiration, your yes, your no's, you know, everything. Your green lights, your stop, you know. And if you don't listen to it and you keep making bad dating sim games, you're going to end up in a goddamn dumpster. And you're going to be replaced by another gaming company. And I'd hate to see that. I'd hate to see that. We all would. We put so much time and energy, you know? There's a joke, or there's always this running thing every year, like, oh, League is a dying game, it's a dead game. It's bleeding. It's bleeding. It's bleeding, and it's been talked about for years. When they said dying, that's the thing. It's so big that it's hard to kill, right? It's like this giant, tough steel, like One Piece character, you know, made out of like a rock or steel or whatever, kind of, you know, just full on. That's his element type thing. That's his power, and he's bleeding, and he's injured, and he's beat up by some hockey users, and he's like, you know, really injured, and it's a slow death. It's a very slow death. He's like League has cancer. I don't know what stage, but it's got cancer, and it's slowly dying. It's bleeding out, and it can fix it. It has time to. Cancer's probably a bad idea. It's like another disease you can get a cure for if you act right. If you do something about it. If you can stem the bleeding, you can cut off circulation. That's what they've been doing. They've been doing little patch jobs, but eventually it's gonna bleed out, and you're still gonna die, right? You're still gonna have the disease. You didn't actually treat the root of the cause. You're just treating the symptoms, not the root. You know, sort of thing. And I think they could, if they allowed their players and content creators the access to toggle with the asset, that assets, and make a map and stuff, and get in there and like do what you do. And if it's not easy for us to do, or you can't, like, oh well, there's a bunch of coding, there's no like simple map creator thing, and you can't just throw the assets around and drag and drop them. Easy for us to work on the maps, assets, and stuff like that, and it's all just coding. Then make it easy. Make it a map creator, so we can go make it, play with the assets, the map, the characters, and the models, and set the rules and stuff like that. Make it that way, because they did it for Dota. They did it for Warcraft, and they probably did it for StarCraft. I know they just did it for Age of Empires, so I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear any of it. You can do it for Portals too. And you expect me to believe I can't do it for League of Legends map and their assets and their champions? Please. Please. It ain't that complicated. We've done this rodeo. We've been here. Yeah, your own models ain't that special. Your assets, your color, your texture packs, they ain't that special. They ain't that crazy out there like, oh man, so high tech, it's too complicated for the average Joe. No. No, we can definitely mess around with your maps and assets and create stuff for you. You just have to let us, so we can help you do your job for free. I just don't understand why Riot wouldn't like free help. That wants to do it, that's passionate about it, that's there for it, that helps support them, helps them grow, better themselves. I don't see why not. Honestly, all their predecessors and their future competitors from both ends of the spectrums are doing it. Because guess what? Those people that are outside of Riot, I'm like, oh, well, we remember back in the day, there's always this custom thing. We should allow that, because that's what made those maps epic and great and legendary. People remember Warcraft 3 for a reason. People remember Age of Empires for a reason. People remember StarCraft for a reason. People remember Dota for a reason. It's because they could customize their stuff on there. They can make crazy maps and stuff like that. It's not like Riot's custom game mode. Well, it's just the map, and you can just, run around on it and do whatever, just like in a regular set. What? I want to be able to change my surroundings. I want to edit it. I want to make a waterfall. Let me make a goddamn waterfall. Put it, but like a 10-story waterfall, middle of the map. Objectives at the top, stairwell to get to it. You get the objective, you gotta bring it down. You gotta battle in the air, like shoot them down with like cannons or something. As they try and it's barred with chimes, trying to get the chimes to the top of the waterfall mountain on Targon. Do you hear this? I could be doing this right now. I could be making this. Watch this. Watch this. Yeah. Where you at, Riot?